Hey everybody, Tal here. Today we have a very interesting topic, and it is the fear of death. I know that a lot of people are afraid of death, especially in our Western culture where we don't talk about it as much and don't make it so much a part of life as they do in the Eastern cultures. So there is a lot to talk about, and it's very important to deal with because it truly influences the way that we live. Stay tuned. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Choosing to Connect. I'm Tal Mandelbaum. I'm a social psychologist and spiritual teacher, and this is where we talk about how to create a life we love by living from love. And today we're talking about our fear of death, which is the greatest fear that human beings have psychologically. It's been shown to be the deepest, greatest fear, and probably the one at the basis of all of our other fears. And there are many. So if we can solve this fear, we can probably solve a lot of other ones as well. Now, what are we actually afraid of when we're afraid of death? Basically, we're afraid of not existing and we're afraid of the unknown because we are living life in our Western culture most of the time without being taught what life is, who we are, why we come into this world, where we're headed, what is the meaning of life, what is the meaning of all of this. And therefore, we're very afraid of death, which is probably the only constant that we're sure of, right? We're sure of that. And yet we have no idea what it means about us and what will happen to us. And if there is death and according to our more like materialistic Western view, then nothing happens and we don't continue to exist afterwards. And what does that even mean about who I am? Right? There's all these questions that come up. Now, I personally had to deal with these questions early on in my early 20s when I was faced with death, when I was given a cancer diagnosis and I had to deal with these questions that were um, really nagging for me and very important for me at the time and still are to really decipher. Now, I don't think we have to wait for really difficult things to happen to us for us to ask these questions. In fact, I heard of somebody who went to a kind of retreat, and one of the questions or one of the exercises that spiritual teacher gave them was they gave them an envelope, and in the envelope there was a note telling them they had, I don't know, a month or 3 months to live, and then they had to think about how they would live their life if that were true. And what happens when you do that kind of exercise is you really begin to see life in a whole new perspective, and a lot of the other fears that you have kind of wash away. Fear of what people will think of me, fear of what is appropriate or not appropriate, fear of making mistakes, fear of being rejected, fear of being wrong, et cetera, et cetera. All these fears we have about how we will be perceived fall away, and then we're much more able to live our lives fully and be who we are and really connect to what we truly want and need, um, from this perspective. So, thinking about death and realizing our transience can be a really important thing to actually living our life to the fullest and fulfilling our lives and who we are. So, then it's so very important to do that. And I think that the last part of what I have to say about this in this video is that the way to not be afraid of death is only by fulfilling our spiritual potential and working on our spirituality. Because when you do that, you gradually evolve that thing in you, that part in you that is eternal, which is your really your consciousness. You can call it your soul, but it's really that point within you, that seed within you that has a potential to grow into your higher states of consciousness or soul, which is eternal. But as long as you have not evolved this little seed within you, then it remains a seed and you essentially remain within the consciousness of the three-dimensional world, your body, this more earthly reality that is finite, that has an end to it. But the more you evolve that seed and grow it, the more connected you become to higher levels of consciousness that can eventually help you move into your eternal state of being. And there you don't feel afraid anymore. And Kabbalists, spiritual teachers actually say that if a person reaches these levels, then he experiences the death of the body, kind of like taking a shirt off at the end of the day and putting it in the laundry. So, from higher levels of consciousness, the body and the identification with the body is very different. You do not see yourself as the physical body anymore. And so, any fear of it leaving is not substantial. So, what we really want to do with this time that we have within the body is to constantly evolve that higher part in us of us that is eternal, that is outside the constraints of time and space, and from which we will be able to lessen our identification with our body and therefore our fear of losing. So I hope that helps. It does put the responsibility right back into your hands. I know these are not answers that make you feel like, whew, now I don't have to be afraid anymore. But it does show you that A, looking death in the eye and accepting death is very important to actually living your life to the fullest. And B, there is an eternal reality that is waiting for you. And all you have to do is connect, evolve, and you will reach it because that is your highest purpose. That is where you're headed, and that is where we're all headed together. So, no reason to be afraid, but rather to connect and go through this together with love, happiness, joy, and excitement. So, that's it for today, and I'll see you again next time. If you like this video, press the like button, subscribe to the channel, pass this forward to anybody who could use it, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.